Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus, and after watching the show on Prime, I was really pumped giving the solo mode of Fallout the board game a spin. I did play the multiplayer mode several times. I think I did play the cooperative variant that has been introduced with atomic bonds, and I think I also played the normal, let's call it competitive game. But for whatever reason, I was never able to try out the solo mode, mainly because I think this is not my copy of the game. A good friend of mine was kind enough to borrow me her copy, so here I am. I already shared some pics with my patrons and everyone suggested, yeah, let's definitely go to atomic bonds right off the bat. I keep hearing it's difficult playing this true solo, and this is what I wanted to do because there's a lot of room for me to mess things up. So what I will give you today is basically, let's call it one core scenario minus atomic bonds, but ultimately I decided to go with the New California extended map setup of the Commonwealth scenario over here. Not really sure if I should be using the extended map or not, especially in solo mode, but I will do it anyway. And also, after a long deliberation with myself, I also decided to start the game as a standard world trailer, that is. I was really intrigued to play as the ghoul, but again, for my first solo mission, I decided against that. Again, maybe the ghoul is simpler or easier than the standard world trailer, but ultimately that's what I'm going to play with today. And because I'm more or less playing base game, the solo mode from the base game, I also start the game with one of these agenda cards here, which is security. So I already have 1 influence points. In case you don't know, you win the game in the solo mode if you happen to amass 11, I believe, influence point that is. So right now I already have 1 of those. Hooray, 1/11th on my way to victory, but I can gain additional influence points for every space that the Institute is in the lead compared to the Railroad, that is. So again, looking at our scenario sheet here, the Commonwealth, we have the Railroad, we have the Institute, and right now, because I have drawn this agenda card here, I think I want to work for the Institute here, mysterious scientific organization that has created robots known as synth that can be nearly indistinguishable from humans. Of course, I could be drawing more agenda card and then I may let's say, switch sides or so. I can declare loyalty in this game. So right now, even though this card is face up, I haven't really declared loyalty. On the other hand, I could in theory do that right off the bat because there's no one else to compete with. So again, my goal is to make it to 11, and there are, let's say, various different kind of these agenda cards which would allow me to gain more influence, and I think I immediately win once I reach the 11. As usual, I will explain as I go. Some of you may have whatever watched a playthrough or two. Some of you might have played it. So that's basically where we are. This is again the expanded map from the New California expansion. I think the normal map for this base game scenario, I think basically it's a much smaller map. I think at least, I don't know, 8-9 tiles or so less. I could be wrong, but it's definitely a much smaller map. That is, I'm starting over here at the Crossroads camp. I believe, and that's what I really struggle with, I think I can basically start on any of those spaces in here. And I think that's what I want to do, because here there's nothing really worth doing for me. And yeah, I think let's start out here. I don't really have a goal, but there might be some quests and whatnot that may surface. I believe this is one of, let's say, the troops from the Institute. So if I declare loyalty, these fellas down here will really don't mess with me. I can walk through them because again, I have the corresponding agenda card in my hand, security over here, which is the shield. So I think let's do that. But before we get started, let's have a quick look at our very first quest card that is basically in our stage area. Welcome to the Commonwealth. And that's really something I absolutely enjoy in this game. It's so driven by narratives and stories, really. With all the expansions, you get a ton of quest cards and whatnot. So I think replayability in this game is huge. Many dangers lurk in this new wasteland ahead of you, but the one you have heard the most about is the dreaded synth. said to look, sound and smell just like humans. They are robots who have infiltrated the very society of the Commonwealth. So we have basically two objectives on this quest. So we can either kill any one of these, I think these are raiders, kill a suspect synth that no one will miss to find out the truth. On the other hand, I mean, I think for now I want to work for the Institute. At least it seems so. But let's see what the other objective is. This all sounds a bit overblown. Head to Diamond City to discreetly dig up some information. Okay, here we could take a quest action down in Diamond City, which is over here. So I think all the more reason maybe to do that. I think that really will work out. I think this is my goal. I don't want to start randomly fighting guys because again, I'm overall this, let's call it a little bit naive of a bold dweller. And yeah, at least at the start, let's keep going. So we have two actions during our turn. And I think for my first action, I'm going to explore. And explore basically allows you to reveal an adjacent tile. So because I'm here at the very edge of this tile, I could explore this, or that. I guess this one down here towards Diamond City might be the right way to do. So that's already my first action. So let's see what we get. We will always put them in the same orientation as our starting tile. So this arrow is pointing up and that's not entirely great. Here we would have in theory Vault 84, but as far as I know, you can only ever enter those vaults when something allows you to do that. So I think right now I simply couldn't go there and start exploring that. But on top of this, we have to reveal another enemy, which is one of these bugs or insects or whatnot. And here we have, oh wow, that's really not great. It's a red scorpion, which is aggressive, so it will definitely come after us and will also start attacking us. It's really not too hard to kill, and if we are not defeating it, yeah, again, we should be able to defeat it. It will basically turn the other way. It will escape. So that wasn't really particularly great, quite honestly. Luckily, we can take the same action twice. And of course, I could go down here, then a combat would in theory immediately begin because again, it's an aggressive enemy. So I don't need to spend something, but I'm also not getting anything out of that. On the other hand, I really want to get it over with because from here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I mean, it's the same distance in the end, but it will come towards me anyway. And then I didn't really make any progress whatsoever. On the other hand, I have 2 movement points. If I now do a move action and I will be stuck here, but then from there I could move over there. Maybe that's the better deal. And then I can show you already a combat. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? So we are moving over here to the red scorpion space because again, it's an aggressive enemy. We will have to fight it right off the bat. Normally, if that wouldn't have this lightning symbol here, I would have to spend a combat action in order to do anything about that. But I think right now, let's do that. Unfortunately, I don't have any weapons with me, but I have my trusted wall suit here, which comes with one let's call it natural armor, which definitely does help in this case. So yeah, let's simply roll our so-called VETS dice. And because I will mainly rolling on the board itself today, I think I will go with the lighter dice tower here. Will not be using my trusted Lego dice tower. So here are the VETS dice. You will always roll those 3, I believe. In the Atomic Bonds expansion, there is an assistance die, a green one, which you would be rolling. Again, it's a cooperative expansion basically, but in this case, these are the 3 dice we are rolling today. And ultimately, we are basically trying to score some hits. And this was a terrible result because the red scorpion is basically vulnerable, let's say feet and arms. I didn't roll any of those. I rolled a body and 2 head hits. And it's not vulnerable against that. The first thing that will happen is we will check how many stars we are seeing right now. And each star is basically a hit. And each hit equals damage equal to the amount of the level. Right now the level is 1, which is kind of good. The problem really is we are taking 1, 2, 3 hits. That's 3 damage, which I think is still doable. We can ignore one of those stars because of our wall suit here, so that basically isn't here, but we will still take 2 damage, 1 and 2, already losing. If we ever basically hitting the red symbol here, we are automatically defeated. Right now we didn't get any red damage whatsoever. Yeah, but the problem is next we would check if we would be doing damage, but as I already showed you, we simply didn't hit it. The thing is, it's now, what does it call? I think it's a retreat ability or so, and which simply means we are flipping it to the inactive side. So it will not directly attack us again, which is kind of good news, but I would of course have preferred to kill it. Okay, that was truly terrible. In theory, I still have a movement point left. You're not losing movement points in this game. You can generate your movement point, start moving, take an action, then continue to move. In this case, there's really nothing to be done. Of course, I could move back up, but ultimately, again, I want to move closer to Diamond City. Yeah, that was a pretty bad first round. But then it's the end of the round. We are revealing our agenda card, which is then also activating our enemies. This deck is kind of staged, so we only have basically cards for 1+ players. I am 1+ player. And then we are checking which of these enemies are getting activated basically from left to right. The star symbols, I think there's no star on the board right now, and we don't have, I think these are mutant enemies or so. We also, oh, we do actually, of course. Yeah, we started the game with this guy here already on the board. It will move 1 space closer to us, which I believe is over here. And they will treat these undiscovered landscape tiles as 1 space. So as long as these are not revealed, it will really greatly increase the movement values of these enemies. And this super mutant behemoth, he's terrible. This is basically, I have no chance right now taking him out. When I think I see that now, he's even fast. Oh, good that I checked. So he will already be on this tile actually. Okay, that is brutal. But okay, it's back to me. Next round to come with my first action. Again, this guy didn't reactivate. Only if we would have seen the corresponding icon on the agenda card would it have basically flipped over. After it activated, didn't really attack us. So right now we are good. So let's do another exploration action. We will explore this thing in here. This is good. So we have our very first location, but of course we have to bring out another enemy. This guy over here. And this is a Regulator, and the Regulator has a ranged attack icon, but it's not he's not aggressive. But if we would defeat him, but he has a level of 2, we would be taking 1 loot, and obviously loot is a good thing. The next problem now is this fella is ranged, which means he will attack me from the super duper mart over here, and I will even suffer a penalty. And in theory, yes, I could now start to run away. On the other hand, I could simply go for a rest action here. No, I can't do that because there's an enemy, but because that enemy is inactive, I might be able to do that actually. And indeed, a survivor cannot perform the camp action while in the same space as a face-up enemy. Right now the red scorpion is face down, so I am allowed to do that. So I would be getting up to 3 life points back. The thing is, I don't really know if that's the best thing to do right now. Of course, this Regulator doesn't need to activate with the next agenda card, and it's not aggressive, so in theory I could move on to the space and be okay. He wouldn't directly attack me, but of course if the next agenda card would show the skull icon, then yes, I would have to fight this fella anyway. The question is, how soon do I want to move towards Diamond City? And I think that's still the best I can do right now, so I will take my 2 movement actions, or basically 1 movement action generating 2 movement points to move 1, 2 spaces over here. If I would have a ranged weapon, I wouldn't be as concerned, quite honestly. But yeah, it is what it is. I think, again, that's already the end of my turn. I explored and I moved. So let's draw our next agenda card, and we are okay, but this also means our friend the Red Scorpion will activate again. But overall, I think it is okay. First of all, any face-up bug creature would now be moving, but because there are no other face-up folks available, so in this case we are now activating the Red Scorpion again. So he will come after us. But really good news is we could really make it to Diamond City to make our very first quest action of the day. And I think that's what we are going to do. Again, we have declared our loyalty with the, I keep forgetting, the Institute here, and I've placed a little shield next to the card, so I can safely move into the space here without any problems. They're indeed not aggressive. No, they are not. So I'm moving 1-2 spaces into Diamond City because, again, I have declared my loyalty with the Institute, which you can do, and I think also renounce at the start of your turn. So if I want to fight the guys, I could then basically renounce that, but then I have to suffer the consequences here. Anyway, we are now going for an encounter action. No, we are going for a quest action because, again, we are at Diamond City and this means we have to take a quest action here. Apart from that, nothing else has to be done. I get 2 loots for that, and we will be able to stage card 16 and 67, and we are adding card 17. Adding cards is something very similar to Arkham Horror 3rd edition. You take some number of cards from top of the respective deck and shuffle them amongst it. In a solo game, it's basically one other card. But that's how the story is basically being driven. First of all, we do these things from left to right. We are taking 2 loot cards. So now it starts to feel we are making progress. First card and another card. So we have a bottle cap mine and some water. I'm not sure if that is great or not. So let's have a look at those. During a turn, exhaust to place an unused quest marker in your space and on this card. After enemies activate, if at least one enemy moved into the marked space, kill each enemy in that space, then discard this card. Okay, that is ultra huge. I think I will immediately do that. It's still my turn. I think I can still take that action after. I think I can immediately use that. That is great. And here the water. During your turn, you may discard this card to recover 5 HP, but then we would suffer 1 red damage. And getting rid of red damage isn't easy, quite honestly. Again, I think it's still my turn. I should be able to use that after I've taken my 2 actions. At least I hope. It doesn't say after your turn. I think I should be okay with the bottle cap mine. But let's continue to resolve the quest. So next we will stage cards 16 and 67. So here we have all aboard, and we have World Rumors card 67. Let's start with all aboard. After asking around in Diamond City, you are approached by a man calling himself Drummer Boy. He explains that his thins are actually the work of an organization known as the Institute, and he asks for your help in freeing them. Okay, we are placing 1 more shield on downtown Boston. Let's do that. So basically down here, that's a different space. And in order to meet any objectives on this card, we either place the 3rd on the map, then we would be triggering this, which would be good because then basically on the scenario shield, the shield marker will be down. And again, right now we are getting some extra influence points for that. So that's definitely something worth considering. On the other hand, we could simply take, yeah, that's something we could do. We could take a quest action adjacent to a shield, which right now we are on that space. We would gain 3 caps, we would be staging some more cards, and then we would be trashing this. That is quite interesting, honestly. Anyway, we still have to add card 17. It goes to, I think, this deck here. So again, we are solo, so we are taking 1 more card, and then I somehow have to shuffle it. I will do that somehow behind my back and whatnot. Again, I already lost track. And we are placing this on top of them. When we are taking an encounter action at a location like this, then we would be more or less encountering something from that card. Anyway, last thing to do on this card, we have to trash it. And maybe I think I have forgotten to have a look at the World Rumors card here. So let's definitely do that as well. Every year, new unfortunate appear out of the wasteland, claiming to have been banished from an underground bunker made before the war by a company called Wartech. perhaps it is worth investigating. Okay, we can now either kill any one of those fellas, the, I think, raiders. Then we would be gaining another of these agenda cards, which is definitely good. Having more agenda cards, of course, also increases the speed of the game, because again, when we are getting through the agenda deck, certain things will happen. Nothing too bad. Or we could do a quest action at any one of those. I don't know what these symbols are, but I'm on one of those locations. But then we would also have to spend 4 caps in order to do that. Right now we only have 3 caps. This is our starting money, the Nuka-Cola caps. Killing this one might be the easier thing to do, actually. Problem is, do I want to do that or not? But okay, we have our, somewhat let's call it goals. I think it's still our turn. Hopefully I am okay to place the bottle cap mine right away. A quest marker in your space. In your space, of course. Yeah, I cannot place it adjacent to me. Can I still... Do I take damage? Yeah, it only kills enemies. No, I think I am okay. So I will most certainly use this card. Yeah, absolutely. And I think this doesn't really count as an enemy. And as soon as this fella will move into my space, I should be golden because he's getting killed. Nice. Anyway, it's the end of my round. Let's activate one of a kind. And these guys, the super mutant doesn't activate. The cowboy will, or the regulator, and these mutants, monsters. I don't know what those are actually. I think they're called monsters. So they will move 1 space over here, or will they move over here? I think in this case it doesn't really matter, so I will take this. They're not adjacent to me. Normally they would now be fighting me because again they're ranged. Okay, back to me. In theory, I could immediately take the second stage of this piece. On the other hand, I actually want to place the third shield on the map because then I would be gaining some caps. And again, these guys will advance and this will give me victory points. Again, I will get influence points basically for every space, or for every space that the shields are ahead of the star. Right now they're on the same space. If I would achieve that, then basically I would be gaining 1 extra influence point for that. And again, my goal is 11 here. So maybe let's not get too crazy here. Let's simply take an encounter action. Again, these guys are not really enemies to me because again, I have declared my loyalty with the Institute. So we are encountering. So we are taking the topmost card and we'll resolve it here accordingly. And indeed, it's the card that we have shuffled into the deck. And I really shuffled this well. This is basically something that has been added with the new California expansion. So there are various cards with 2, 4, 3, something they did with Outer Rim as well. So you have cards with the same number several times, so you don't always know what's happening. And they really like this a lot. This is really a great way, dramatically increasing the replayability of these story-driven games. You find a briefcase filled with documents about a pre-war ward. Oh, a ward. Clearly someone has left it here by mistake. So we can look through the papers, or we can search for the, and I really need to shine it down, search for the briefcase's owner. Again, I'm really trying not to look here. I really need to cover that. Maybe the next time I will take something and place it on top of that. So I missed it now. So I guess we are looking through the papers actually. Let's do that. So I'm about to look through the pages. You learn the location of one of the hidden vaults. Okay, we are staging 203. Maybe we can get into a vault. Okay, lovely. Let's try to find that card here, 203. It's another quest card. And here we have the desert vault. A vault has been discovered in a barren area of the wasteland. Preliminary investigations have yielded no information as to whether or not there are any survivors. You're able to learn the location of the vault with relative ease. Okay, we can now either encounter this or basically quest there at the vault 44. So far we haven't found it yet. No, we have found 84 actually, or we encounter 44 cards until you learn the secrets of the desert vault. Some of these vault adventures or quests are terrible. Really, you're whatever, a lot of crazy stuff can happen there. I remember at least 2 of those. Not sure how many there are actually. And yeah, basically you get a clarification here. Effects will instruct you to place 44 cards into the play area. But yeah, for now we are not doing that. Again, we have to find the wall card first, or the wall location first. I still have an action, and quite honestly, I'm not sure what to do here, because I'm really surrounded by enemies. Maybe this was a stupid idea running towards that, especially with this super mutant behemoth down here. I could now basically prepare to move 1 to... No, I couldn't even make it here to the super duper mart actually, because I only have 2 movement points. I could start exploring down here, but then my whole booby trap wouldn't really work. I really want to get rid of this fella with my bomb. So maybe, or the bottle cap mine that is. So maybe I will make it here, because this red scorpion right now can't really get to me. And for the regulator, even though he is difficult to deal with, he would actually help me resolving the Vault rumor. He would be staging another card. So I think, and I can't encounter again, though maybe that's something I should have clarified. So maybe let's do that. So with my second action, I will move 1-2 spaces here, because again, he's not an aggressive enemy. The regulator here will still attack me if I'm getting activated, but I rather be on the same space, because then he doesn't get his benefit from his ranged weapon. And I think that's what I need to do. Okay, let's draw the agenda card for this round, and indeed the regulator is going to activate, so we will see another fight. This time he's vulnerable at his torso and the legs. Again, we are always rolling all 3 VETS dice. I still don't have any re-rolls. No, I don't actually. Oof, okay, that was... Oof, okay, that is going to be nasty. I think he will be dead, but he's inflicting 3 hits, and each hit is worth 2 points. So that's 6 points. Luckily, because of my wall suit again, I can negate 1 of those, but we are still taking 4 points worth of damage, bringing us to 10 actually. Okay, but we are still standing. Next we check for the hits. This die did hit, we are hitting the torso. This die did hit, we are hitting the leg. These are 2 points. Again, it doesn't matter that these are basically 2 hits or so. It's 1 hit, because 1 die is 1 hit, and we need to come to 2 in this case. So 1 and 2, so this regulator is dead. So that's already a good thing. First of all, we will be drawing 1 of those loot cards. And that's purified water. During your turn, you may discover this card. Oh, that's the better version of our standard water, and you really needed this. Okay, it's not our turn just yet, but I think we will get there. And by the way, we can carry up to 3 items in our inventory here, and this is basically our inventory. We still have the 3 equipped items over here, like the wall suit. The wall suit allows me to equip 1 additional apparel actually, which is a good thing. We can still carry a weapon, and this is a companion slot. So far we haven't seen any companions, and dog meat is indeed a thing in this game. A little spoiler here, but yeah, I think that was okay. The regulator is out of here because he was a level 2 enemy. We are getting 2 steps with our experience tracker. We are always moving from icon to icon, so letter to letter. Right now we only have the I and the L. I think the L is the one we have started with. I didn't even show that to you because right now there weren't any tests done, quite honestly. We didn't use any weapons, but we will gain 1-2 experience points. The next time this would be moving off, basically off the charts, we would be leveling up, drawing another one of those you are special kind of abilities, and these are usually, I think most cases, just rerolls in this case. But anyway, it's good enough. We made some progress in this case. The item was really strong. Several things will happen now actually. So this guy is out of here, as I already mentioned, but unfortunately we are drawing another enemy of the same type. It goes to the closest location where we are. It will be face down, so we will get a break at least, yeah, for maybe another round or so. But now we have also completed this objectives here from World Rumors. Many of the world exiles are caught by raiders. You might be able to get something of one of them. Kill any raider, which we just did. So we're getting another of these agenda cards now, so that is lovely. Managing it. It's none of the cards which gives us some loyalty, but we already have declared loyalty to the Institute. We are getting 1 more influence. All of these are worth 1 influence. influence points, so we're already up to 2. And we are getting 1 more if we have 3 or more drugs, or we are getting 1 more if you're also well rested. This could give us up to 3 influence points here, but do we have any drug items? No, we don't, but for now it's 2 victory points. I totally take that, and I think, yeah, we still have to stage a card, 68, and then we will trash this one. So let's get rid of Vault Rumors, and here we have Signs of Life. The raiders had one of the Vault Dwellers' wrist-mounted computers on them. With this, you should be able to contact the people on the inside of the vault or interact with its computer. So we can either quest at any one of those locations, then we have to do an INL test, which of course is amazing because those are the exact 2 abilities which we do have. Are you kidding me? Then we would be getting another agenda card, and we would be adding card 71. Right, this was a quest card. Yes, it was a quest card. This was staged. Yeah, this was staged. Okay, I was worried a little bit. Or we can basically go to Vault 84, which we already have discovered, but we need a companion. Any companion. We don't have a companion with us right now. I did read through the FAQ, and it seems that the 44 Desert Vault here seems to be a little bit, let's call it, buggy in respect to how it's getting to be resolved. So I have to make a judgment call. I really didn't get it, quite honestly, but we have to find it first anyway. Okay, that is interesting, but I believe this was basically everything that happened from the Dead Raider, the Regulator. Not too bad. A lot of things that did happen here, and I think that I will end my playthrough here for today. Definitely let me know what you think I should be doing next. I'm definitely tempted going into the Super Duper Mart and encounter here. I'm not so sure if I will already willing to... Yeah, we could go for the Signs of Life just to see how things happening right again. And this is at least in the core game, that's really crucial. Getting the right mix of these agenda cards so that they really work well together. You can have the same card twice basically, and then you can really double up on things. So that's how you can at least somewhat prepare for a victory. I think so far we are still doing okay. We are not through the first round of the game. When we are getting through the agenda deck, these guys will start to move down, and if one of those will reach down here, and if by then we didn't really win the game, we can still win the game by moving it down here through some of the agenda cards, then we have automatically lost the game. But yeah, let me know what you think. So far, I'm really enjoying myself here. It's definitely quite fun. I didn't particularly enjoy the normal, let's say, competitive mode of the game, quite honestly, because it's highly swingy, but I did enjoy the cooperative mode, and I think this is really a co-op or solo game, quite honestly. Again, I keep reading it's very difficult, the co-op and the solo experience, but honestly this is fine to me. For me, I want to explore the game. I want to experience stuff. If I win or lose, I don't really care. If I had fun, I mean, all these cool encounters here, the quest, this is basically the journey. And if I happen to make some progress along the way, I'm really considering myself quite happy if I will make it to 6, 7, 8 of these influence points by the end of the game. Anyway, let me know what you think. And yeah, before I forget, huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members out there. You guys are truly amazing. Can't really tell you how much I appreciate all your support. If you want to support my little channel, you will find a link to my page on Patreon. You can join me here on YouTube. There is a thanks button below the video for a small, or maybe not so small, donation. Definitely like and subscribe, leave a comment. This is also greatly helpful and very much appreciated. And yeah, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos, and until then, bye bye.